Hey everyone, Dylan here. We're going to do a review today on the Kubota ZD1211 zero turn mower. This is a diesel mower, and we're going to go over some of the strengths and weaknesses of it. So, hey, let's get started.
Okay.
Let's start with the motor. This motor is a 24.8 horsepower motor. These new diesels fall under, if they're above 25 horsepower, they have to have emissions control of them, mainly a DPF filter. So these manufacturers are really trying hard to stay under that 25 horsepower threshold. You get above that, the emissions controls on them are very expensive, problematic, and it's just better to stay under that mark. So when I was looking at mowers, that was one thing that was concerning me. Is this motor going to have enough oomph, enough power to get the job done? Because, you know, the price of this mower is the price point of this mower. You can virtually just about get any gas powered motor out there. Particularly, I was looking at the 37 EFI Vanguard motors. I can just tell you that for a 60-inch deck, this motor is plenty. I never struggle for power. I can go right through the luscious grass. It does not bog. I'm about 180 pounds, but with me on it, 60-inch deck, zero power complaints. And on top of that, the fuel consumption is excellent. I've never done a gallons per hour mark. I'm not a commercial guy. We just got a lot of land out here we mow, but it just sips fuel. I can mow all day into the next. I mean, it just really does sip fuel. So power is excellent. Obviously no issues. It's still a relatively new machine. This is a 17 model, but I had a Toro 7000 series before this. No issues out of that Kubota motor. It's just, you know, Kubota reliability. But yeah, if that's a concern of yours, you're thinking about the horsepower, is that going to be an issue? Again, there's another YouTuber who does a great review on a 72-inch deck. It looks like it's running it good, but I can attest to the 60-inch deck. Plenty of power. That shouldn't be a concern. All right, y'all, let's talk about the build quality. Now, you're going to have to mind me. I got everything up because I'm about to go through with the shop vac, suck everything out. It's absolutely filthy. Go through the radiator. The radiator's got quite a bit of buildup on it. You got to make sure you keep that thing clean. Hose out the outside, pull this out, re-hose it, hold the screen. See, there's a bunch clogged up down there I got to get. And do this too. See, it's all filthy. We just mowed a bunch of grass. But you got to keep it. These diesels are tough, but if they get hot, they can get fragile quick, and you got to keep that vacuumed out. Even the pumps down there, the fins, you really need to keep them clean. And mine's just absolutely filthy. I hadn't done it in a month or so, and you can really tell it. That'll just add to heat. But take a mind and look at how this thing's built. I mean, just metal fittings, everything's machine tight, big, beefy. Look, check out that big old shaft driven deck, huge shaft. Everything's tight. The only rubber right here is just the fuel fitting, and even that gets wrapped in plastic up here. I mean, it's just, you know, I have two neighbors. One reason I was looking at Kubota, I like the diesels anyway, and I got one neighbor with over 3,000 hours, and another one's got a first generation with over 4, and I just think that really shows. I mean, just everything's heavy duty. You step on it, I mean, it's just beefy. It's just a heavy duty, well-built machine. Little gripe on it, if I was gonna say the only thing I find a little cheap is this PTO engagement. When you go to engage it, it is metal, but it's just, I don't know, it's kind of, I wish that was a little more in place like the throttle. The throttle don't hardly move at all, but the PTO, I don't know, but that's so minor. I mean, other than that, it is just well-built machine. Let's talk about the comfort of this machine. Very comfortable mower. Seat's nice, big suspension seat. The front axle pivots. I don't know if you know much about these mowers. You can actually pull this cover off. Pull that out and actually jack this front axle pivot and pick the front of the mower up, making it easy to change blades, service, and all that. But even in the lock position, the front will move as you go. The back is fixed. So overall comfort of this machine, it's comfortable. It's 1,700 pounds. It's a big, heavy mower, you know, and that's something I like because it's well built, big diesel. But it will buck you off. I mean, you get to move and you get that much weight going, it will buck you off. But if you stay steady, you know, mow easy, It is a very comfortable mower. Seat's nice. The Toro seat on my last mower, that's what I compare it to. I love Toro seats. I think that's like sitting in your living room chair. But this seat is nice. It's a very comfortable mower. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about probably the most controversial thing about this mower, and that is that right there, the ACS deck. Now, they changed it to this model from the Pro deck. They claim, Kubota claims, because of the emissions and having to run less power, that they have to have a more efficient cutting deck. I think that's a bunch of garbage. I don't know. I've done research before I bought this. Nothing really surprised me. I would see it would miss stringers. People had lots of complaints about the blades, and I'm just going to back that up. This blade right here that I'm running, I really should have it out, but it's pretty dull. I need to get it sharpened. I'm going to just flat replace it. But this is a Kubota high lift style blade. And if you can tell, there ain't much lift on that. That ain't much of a high lift blade to me. It's angled back. And it just ain't got a lot of lip on it. And because of that, it will miss grass. It will leave stringers. This one's got a different bolt diameter than the older ZD decks. So that is one thing that needs to be addressed. I have some on my previous videos, some people commenting with some different blade options to look into, and I'm going to do that. I think that will really help. On the plus side, though, what did surprise me about this deck was the ability to process the grass. What I mean is how well it cuts it up and shoot it out. It actually shoots the grass pretty far. I mean, it'll shoot it 2 full passes. And I wasn't expecting that. I came from a Turbo Force deck, which just throws grass like you wouldn't believe. And but this, it doesn't throw it quite like that, but it throws it pretty well, and it cuts it up really fine. I mean, I have to double cut with this deck, but it's not because of the clippings or throwing long clippings. It's not that at all. It's because it'll miss grass. I mean, it's not awful, but and especially for like out here and this kind of cutting, it does good. It does just fine. But like if you were really going to put it up against something, it's just not a Toro, it's not an Exmark, it's not a Skag, on those standards, which again, for how much this machine costs, it probably should cut better. But that's definitely the biggest gripe is those blades. But there's another YouTuber, and guys, I'm going to put the links down. I'm sorry I'm drawing blanks on names. He actually takes an Oregon blade for a Cub Cadet and punches out the hole to get it to fit, and it looked like it made quite a bit of difference. And I think if you fix the lift issue, it would be a fantastic cutting deck because of how well it cuts the clippings up and discharges it. I do really like this deck on the side of course, these pop up really service, but this double, check out that double groove, or a single groove, but it's just a double. It's twice as thick as most other belts is what I'm trying to say. I mean, it's just a monster deck belt. Again, going back to that Kubota build quality and that big gearbox, I mean, it's just a heavy duty deck, and I really do like that. I wish the machine did have a manual foot lift. I've always preferred manual foot lifts when you're going over roots, or if you do hit a rock or something, you can pick it up quick. Even though this has the hydraulic lift, you still just don't have the direct feel to your deck. I like having that, but it is what it is.
Okay.
All right, y'all, so my final thoughts on this mower to wrap it up. Would I recommend this mower? In general, yes. Depends what you're mowing. Like in my situation, absolutely. I don't think you can beat this mower, especially at the price point compared to other mowers. I think all mowers are priced insane. I can't believe we're paying this much for mowers, but when you mow like this, it's something you really need to have. But like for comparison, with a shaft-driven deck, the only thing I really compare it to is like a 997. I know those are running like $22,000. And of course, it's more horsepower and it's got a big, better deck in my opinion. But I believe John Deere's got like a 993 now, which is more comparable. It's got a 25 horsepower diesel and a 6-inch cutting deck, but it's not built as heavy duty, I don't think. It's got the belt, the deck is belt driven, it's double belt. but I just found this one was built better, and that mower was still north of $17,000. This one's $14,500, and I think it's the best built one, really. Especially, I mean, it's not even comparable to the 997 as far as price point. You can't really compare the two. So where it's at for the money, if you're planning on keeping a mower, buying it, keeping it long term, it's hard to beat. I mean, if your number one goal is cut quality, you may want to avoid it. I don't want to say avoid, but you may want to look elsewhere. Definitely demo your grass, ride it. But I would recommend this mower. It will tear up yards if you turn too fast, just because it's so heavy. That's not Kubota's problem, really. That's just a diesel mower problem. So I probably wouldn't get one if you're mowing a lot of real small yards. But for this situation, absolutely, I would definitely recommend this mower.
Go.
Guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more content. I'm going to be doing more stuff on the trucks and some more mowing, and we'll just see what other trouble we can get into. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, that tells YouTube that it's a decent video and they want to show it more. So I appreciate it, y'all. Y'all have a good one, and God bless.